I've had an annual pass to Walt Disney World for almost 2 years now, and I'm still experiencing new things at the parks all the time. So I thought I'd sit and share those stories with whoever cares to listen. That would be you, if you're still here right now. Hi. Starting off with the new cabins at the campgrounds. My parents were going to stay there for 2 nights, but then they ended up having to leave for the second day because my sister was having a medical issue and she was in the hospital. And so they asked if I wanted to stay there with Jaden, and we couldn't pass up the opportunity to see these things for ourselves because we had heard about the change, and we preferred the old cabins, not gonna lie. They're more cozy, they're more cabin-like, they're more campground-like. But these new ones were pretty nice. They're definitely more modern. They hold a lot of people. They have a bunk bed, a big bed, I don't know, queen, king, I don't know what type of royalty it is, but it was big. And then there was also a Murphy bed. I loved how many windows were in there. It gave you a great view no matter what room you were in. It made you feel more connected with nature, and there was also a patio that you could do that on. We got really lucky because there was a patch of trees next to our cabin that had a bunch of, I think it's mangrove roots or something, not totally positive. Should have had a plant label. There was, I think, a pine tree growing out of 2 possible mangrove trees. I don't know, I'm guessing here, but it was really cool. It reminded me of this tree combo at the Polynesian. It's a palm tree growing out of something. And of course, on the porch, we noticed this random piece of wood that was just up there, like ready to fall off. Nobody else had that piece of wood on their windows. Our other windows didn't have that. It was just kind of like sat down up there. I don't know what was up with that. We did get a free piece of artwork made by Brett Iwin from The Room, and it had a full kitchen. It had a fridge, a microwave, a stove with an oven, and literally everything. And we did get to use a golf cart. It was my first time driving a golf cart. I'm pretty sure it was my first time in a golf cart, period. I don't remember being in a golf cart prior to this. It was really fun. I even rode backwards on the back. There was a beautiful sunset that night, and we were debating if we should try to go to the parks because it was going to storm. But we ended up trying to push through, and we saw the fireworks on our way there while we were on the boat. And the heart with the Contemporary just sums me right up. We ended up going and riding Space Mountain and the People Mover, our faves. And we came back to the cabin to this little frog. And before we left the cabin, we had to check out the lobby, and it had this Campground Resort Railroad poster. And then the next day, we had another brand new experience together. We went and rode Test Track on the very first pass holder preview day. We got a virtual queue. We were very lucky to get it in the morning. We rushed over to EPCOT, and I cannot stop thinking about this queue, honestly. When I think about this queue, I don't even think about the ceiling being missing, and that's something that greatly disturbs me, is when there's no ceiling in places. But the future-shaped screens were doing a lot of heavy lifting for me, and it kind of got my expectations a little too high for the actual ride because I thought it was going to be more futuristic. The queue though, guys, the queue with the Astro 3 thing, oh my god. I couldn't tell if it was a car or a spaceship. And they want to say it's not Future World anymore. Oh, okay. And then my mind was blown when we saw the window in the wall with the ride vehicles driving past it and stopping, and then people were waving. It was so good. This gave me so much hope for EPCOT and Disney World as a whole, honestly. The ride itself was definitely an upgrade. I'm not going to put any footage of it on here because I didn't take any, but I was whelmed, especially after that queue. I do really appreciate the references to World of Motion. I really enjoyed pulling up into the town, and then when it changed to the LiDAR, I think it's called, girl, I don't know. I'm just a girl, but when we're at EPCOT, we've got to go to the aquarium and check on Big Boss, my girl, and we witnessed the fish eating brine shrimp, which was really cute. We also saw 3 manatees at once, which is very special. I'm so used to them just having 2 at a time. And we decided to park hop over to Magic Kingdom to check on the construction for Tom Sawyer Island because we miss it greatly already, and it's very sad to see what's already happening to it. It's like a car accident. You know, you don't want to look, but you gotta. We sat at the speedway for a while and watched the cars go by, and we got this spectacular view of Space Mountain. Yes, Stella is stunning. And then at night, we were doing our pirate adventures. We shot 3 different cannons, multiple times each. Very fun, always a good time. And we went in the treehouse and saw this little Goomba, I call it, because I have one of these. It's a tropical house gecko, but mine is named Goomba, so I call them all Goomba. They gather at light sources, and they just wait for the bugs to come to them and eat them. This little shack on the boardwalk on the rivers of America, it's usually roped off to the right, but it was open, so we went behind it because it was open, and it was cool. And this night, for some reason, they did the fireworks at closing at 10 o'clock, which was weird because they usually do it ahead of time, but we hopped in line for Seven Dwarfs as it was starting, and we had a really short wait. It's perfect timing, and we did not die of heat during the wait, so that's always good. And the fireworks were going off during the ride and after, and we got to see them over top of the Seven Dwarfs little, what's it called? Cottage. There you go. So cottagecore. How could I forget? And somehow the fireworks were still going when we were walking all the way through Tomorrowland to leave, and got some great views of them over top the People Mover. I gotta say, Tomorrowland's probably one of the most stunning fireworks spots besides the Rivers of America. There's just so many colorful lights around it that complement them really nicely. We also got to see the cast members walk in the People Mover track, which is always a fun sight to see, and I always picture myself in their shoes because that would be so cool to walk down the People Mover track, right? Whenever it stops, I'm like low-key hoping for a walk-off. Sorry, in-show exit. But yeah, if you can believe it, we ended up going back to Magic Kingdom a few days later, and we checked on the Rivers of America once again, and checked on our little buddy here next to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. He's a bass, and he's stuck in this area because it's separated from the Rivers of America by a fence, and he can't fit through it. This is a shallow area, and they're starting to drain the river, so I was concerned for him. I have emailed Disney, and after I saw that he was still there this time around, we went to City Hall and notified them, and she said that she was on it, and she was an animal lover too, so I have faith in her. I haven't been back yet. It's been almost a week now since I saw him, but I have faith that he's not in there anymore, but I'm gonna check soon, so I'll get back to you on that. And our other buddy, Sunny Eclipse over here at Cosmic Rays Starlight Cafe, was having some issues, which I love to see. Please don't take this as Sunny Eclipse hate. I love to see when there are things quote-unquote wrong with him because it's special and you get to see a little bit of behind the scenes of how he works. And this time his hand was falling completely out of its socket. It was still in the skin, but it seemed like whatever mechanics was holding the wrist together just failed. And it was a little disturbing, but once again, very special. Love to see stuff like that. Always a good time checking on Sunny because you can check on him whenever you want. You don't have to really wait, so it's pretty likely you're going to see something off at some point because he's constantly going. Unless he's up in the ceiling, which I have also seen before. He rises up into the ceiling, into that little cubby. There's like a little empty dome area that he fits into. And I'm pretty sure this was the same day that when we were leaving, we saw people starting to, just a couple people were sitting and like looking like they were saving spots in like weird places, you know, like not just sitting normally. They're like close to being in the walkway, but just outside of tape. Looked like they were waiting for a parade, but all the parades were over and we were like, what the heck? And I wish I thought about the Starlight Parade that's coming up because they did a soft opening for it later, like right after we left. Dang, it's gonna be a long time until I see it now because I am not good with crowds. And I don't think there's a really good spot to get away from crowds to watch this. So I'm just gonna have to wait until the hype dies out. Hopefully the hype is dying out for the Hollywood Studios shows that just opened up, The Villains and Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid's redone, it's been open, but I haven't seen them yet, and I'm really excited to, but I'm just hoping that it's not going to be super crazy around there, you know? So I guess I'll get back to you in the next Disney Diary about those shows whenever I see them. Thank you so much for listening to my stories. And if you have any suggestions for my future videos, please leave them in the comments. Next week, I'm hoping to show you the Little Mermaid painting that I just did for my sister's nursery. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. I'll see you there, partner. Peace and love. Oop, it's still going.